Facts or fear? Facts or fear? Which currency do you use? Which one do you shop with? So what are we talking about? I'm Kanisha Hart. I speak to individuals about forging through fear. How do you forge through fear in life? And you may click off and think, I don't have any fears. You might want to hold on before you click off. The self-doubt that you feel, is based in fear. The procrastination that you have a habit of, that's based in fear. The relationship that is struggling, there's probably some fears underlying causing that struggle. The relationships that you won't start probably has a foundation of fear. The people that you need to network with, but you haven't yet, probably have it in fear. The fact that you will not go live on social media, or you haven't posted the content that God has given you to post, probably based in fear. So we have fears. You have fears. You need to learn to forge through them. That's what I talk about. So I'm Kanisha Hart. I talk and speak on how to forge through fear. And I also am the host of the Coach Up podcast, where I get to talk to 6 and 7 figure earning coaches who share how they built their business to that level for the new, aspiring, and struggling coaches who want to learn to build their business to the same thing. If you're an entrepreneur, it's even good for you because we talk about business building and the specific strategies and tips that 6 and 7 figure earning coaches have used to build their business. So that's what I do. But what we're here to talk about right now is how you forge through fear, and whether you're dealing in facts or you're dealing in fear. Which currency do you trade in? So what's the difference? Let me give you, now when I say facts, I mean things that are true. I do not subscribe to, let's be clear, I do not subscribe to the, because I think it, therefore it is true, that is my truth. No. There is my opinion. There is your opinion. Absolutely. All day. You can have an opinion. But truth and fact for me are the same thing. And now we get into the faith conversation. We divulge a little bit, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But when we talk about truth and fact, meaning it is something that is reality and can be proven. For example, people may say, I am wearing a pink hat. I would agree. I am wearing a pink hat. Now, some people may want to say it's fuchsia. Some people want to say magenta. Some people want to say hot pink. They're all pink. And on our color spectrum that we all use, this falls in the category pink. This is a fact. Your opinion can vary on whatever shade you want to call it. But the underlying fact is it is pink. That is a fact. The truth of it is staring you in the face. It's pink. Yes, it's pink. That's what I'm talking about. I am not talking about an intangible idea that we have that we are calling truth because we believe it. No. That's where fear comes in. I want to establish fear and fact, the difference. So I want to make sure I establish what a fact is. A fact is something that can be proven. There is evidence of it. Fear is usually not something that can be proven. There is no empirical evidence of it. It is made up. Does not mean that it is not real to us, but it is not factual. But we deal in the currency of both. But when you're learning to forge through fear, as you're making the decision to forge through fear in your life, you have to decide which one am I actually going to use as currency. Okay. I'm pausing because it looked like my internet went out and the stream stopped. That may have happened, but I think I'm back. Okay. So when we talk about dealing in the currency of fact, when we deal in the currency of fact, it allows us to design our future. So when you deal in facts, you can design your future. When you deal in fear, you derail your future. Okay. So let's talk about examples, right? So I'll give you an example when it comes to derailing your future because you're using the currency of fear in your life. So let's say you are dating. Okay. You're dating, you are looking for this person that you think is going to be the partner for life. And you are meeting new people. You are going out, interacting, hanging out for dinner, going out to roller skate, going out to a movie. You're doing all the things, going out for a picnic, whatever. But because you are shopping in your dating experience with the currency of fear, because you have a fear of rejection, you have a fear of people looking at you, not seeing who you think they want to see, and then them deciding they no longer want to be seen with you. So you feel like they're going to reject you. So how do you deal with that? Your currency is you will pay. I'm just going to use money because we're talking about currency. You will pay $20 to your date, but you're asking them to give you $15 back. What do I mean by that? I mean, you are going out on a date, but you are holding up a guard and you're putting on a representative to the person so that they can't get to truly know you. And therefore, then as you continue to spend time with each other and your guard just naturally comes down because you get more comfortable, because that is what happens when we put on a front and then we get comfortable and then we forget that we had to keep that front up and then our natural selves comes out. Then the person sees that over time and they say, this is not the person that was presented to me the first date, the first 5 dates, the first 2 months. This is somebody different. This is somebody who does not have the same values that I have, who does not align with the things that I believe in, does not respond to situations the way that I would feel comfortable responding to them. This is not a person that would be cohesive with me. But they didn't know that the first 6 weeks that you all hung out because you had a guard up, because you were dealing in fear. You were showing them who you thought they wanted to see because you were afraid to show them who you truly were, because you had fear they would reject who you truly were. And then your fear became a reality. So that derails the future that you potentially could have had with that person, because now you actually could be the person that they were supposed to be with. You could be the person that they actually were looking for. But because you showed them by fear a representative, a person that was not you, they now don't trust you. They don't trust who they see you are. So you may now be showing your authentic self, but they don't trust who that is because they recognize that it wasn't who you showed them to be to begin with. And now they will reject you, or they will reject having a relationship with you. And so your fear has now come to pass, all because you paid with a 20, but asked them for change. Instead of just saying, I'm going to be my all-out authentic self from the get-go. Now, let me be clear, because I'm talking about relationships. Being authentic does not mean sharing everything in your life with somebody, right? There is privacy, there are trust levels before you share information with people. But that is information about your life, who you are as a person, your personality, your quirks, your things that you believe in. Those should come across all the time. I'll give you a very good example. If you go out to dinner with somebody, if you are a kind person and someone is serving you, the waiter is serving you, you will, because your authentic self is kind, say thank you. Or because you've been taught to have good manners and that's ingrained, you will say thank you when the waiter brings you water or something to drink or your food. You will speak to the waiter with respect, knowing that they are a human being just as you are. You will not treat them as though they are servants. You will treat them as though they're your brother or your sister, because they are. They're your fellow human. That's that's kindness exemplifying itself, because it's coming from a person who is being kind, because that is who you are. You are that being. We are kind. Okay. Somebody who's not kind will barely acknowledge a waiter, will barely say thank you if they do, will demand things instead of asking for things from someone who is providing a service to them. That is your authentic self coming out. When you deal in fear and you send a representative, those are the types of things that can't be shown. Also, when you are authentic, those are things that just naturally come out. And kindness is not something that you keep a secret, right? It's not something that you hold back on. It is who you are. Your situation at home where your aunt is living with you because she doesn't have anywhere to stay and you're not exactly sure how that situation is going to work out, that is privacy that you don't need to share with everybody, right? So I just want to make sure you see the difference between the two. When I say keeping your guard up, and presenting somebody that's not you because you're afraid, and then that representative giving way to who you truly are, and then that results in rejection because the person that you're showing all of this to didn't know who you are and still doesn't, versus approaching new relationships with wisdom and not sharing all of your business with everybody, right? So I just wanted to get in that example. I just wanted to make sure that was clear. But that's what happens when we deal in fear. When we deal in fear, we derail our potential future. Now, when we deal in facts, which is that authentic self, when you deal in the facts, then that can design your future. Because when you deal in facts, so for example, as I am doing these lives and I'm coming to you and talking about how you forge through fear, I can tell you the very first live I did, I was like, okay, let me put on my persona. But the more I'm doing that, and praise Jesus, thank you to the Lord, because he is helping me with this, obviously. I'm doing it through history. He is helping me, revealing to me to just be me, right? I just got off a conversation on my podcast, the Coach Up podcast, that will be dropping, that episode will be dropping sometime in the next month. So this is March 2024. And we were talking about authenticity. And I was reminded that everybody will be attracted to somebody, right? And multiple somebodies, right? Like I follow multiple people who I enjoy, who I connect with, who talk about same things that other people talk about that I don't follow, just because you're not my cup of tea and they are. You're talking about the same information. You have the same information. I'm not talking about anything that's new, forging through fear, but you may connect with me differently than you do somebody else, just because you like the way I talk, or you like the way I move my hands all the time when I'm talking, and that may be distracting. I don't know. May have to learn that skill set anyway. Or you may say, oh my goodness, I cannot stand her voice, or I cannot stand how she goes off on tangents. And you're like, no, I don't want to listen to her. Everybody has people that they like. I'll give you a really, really good example. And I'm going to get back to my facts, design your future. But just today, I actually disconnected with somebody on one of the social media channels because this individual, while very intelligent in the business savvy that they have in an area that they have expertise and knowledge about, and I can learn from them, and I have learned from them, heard them speak, know that they have some good information. However, their posts recently on social media are talking about things that I would prefer not to expose myself to. They contradict with what I believe. And so I don't want to see it. Person is great. But now you've moved into a realm where to see your content I would allow it to cause me to want to respond, and it's not necessary to respond, right? Because I want to give a contradicting opinion and correct you, and it's not necessary, right? Like that's not the space to do it. And the person even said they're going to continue to produce this type of content more and more. That's a flag to me. Nope, because I'm going to want to engage and advise that you are in left field, and not like good left field where the ball is coming, you're going to make an amazing catch. Like you are off, and somebody needs to tell you, nope, I will want to do that, and it's just not necessary. So the best thing to do is to disconnect. Same thing, right? As I share my authentic self with you and talk about forging through fear, I do it in the way that God made me, with my personality, quirks, tangents, all those good things. You will either connect and say, okay, she makes sense, or no, she does not. Or she doesn't make sense for me, and that's okay. But because I'm dealing in fact, in authenticity, you are dealing in fact who you are in this moment. We're all going to change. We're all going to grow. We're all going to evolve. Whether we evolve for the better or worse, there's no standing still. You're never stagnant. You're either growing or dying, one of the two. We're either moving forward or moving backward. We're not standing still. But as we are now, when we are our authentic selves, that's the fact of who we are, and that is what designs our future. When we lean into that, when we shop with that currency, that is what allows us to say, okay, this is what I'm going to put it out into the world. This is the effort, this is the person, this is the characteristics that I'm going to apply, and that will design your future. Now, you may decide what I'm doing, the decisions that I'm making are not designing the future that I actually want. They're designing a future that is not going to be beneficial for me. Hey, that's a signal to change. But that's the difference between fear versus fact. Let's talk about it in a different scenario. Let's talk about it from a business standpoint, because again, I have the privilege of talking to coaches who are sharing their secrets on how they built their business so new, aspiring, and struggling coaches can figure out how to build theirs to 6 figures and beyond. So when we talk about facts and fear versus fear, there may be a coach and they may say, okay, in order for me to make $3,000 this month in my coaching business, I need to get 6 clients at $500 a piece, right? So whatever your coaching program is, you may just, you're offering it for $497, we'll round that to $500. Your coaching program, your course, your 6-week camp, whatever, you're offering for $497. So you need 6 clients. Your fear says $497 is just too much. $500 is just too much. Okay, maybe I need to lower that price. And if I offer it by half, if I offer it for $249, like $250, then now I need 12 clients, but I think I can get that, right? And so you're operating in fear. So now you've created in needing more work, in needing more clients, you have to do more work. Essentially, maybe not necessarily, but essentially, you now have to get double the number of people to say yes than you were going to if you had stayed at the 500. But your fear caused you to say, well, let me offer a discount. So I'm going to say my price is 500, but I'm going to offer it a discount, and so I'm going to put it on sale and make people think, it's a sale. I mean, it is a sale, but you didn't have to discount it. And now you need double the number of people to sign up than you did when it was just $500. And if the program is worth $500, you should be charging $500. But your fear has now derailed potentially your success. You need more customers than you did when you originally started the plan. Based on you probably, maybe, set the plan of $3,000 is your goal because you knew that you were charging $500 and you needed 6 clients, and you know that for every 30 people that you talk to or you get a lead, you close 1. So now you know that you have to talk to 180 people in order to get your 6 clients to say yes, to get your $3,000 for the month. That's how that math works out. $500 program would equal, with 6 clients, equals $3,000. Out of every 30, you get 1 person to say yes. So you need 30 times 6, 180 people to talk to in order to get 6 people to say yes, to pay $500 each to now get your $3,000 for the month. Those are the numbers. Those are the facts. Your fear came in, and now you need 360 people that you need to talk to in a month in order to get 12 people to say yes at $249, $250, in order to get your $3,000 a month. You've derailed your progress because now you have to say, where do I have time to get 360 people to have a conversation with? And I don't know if I had time to do the 180, or I did, and I don't have any more time in the day. Do you see how this snowballs? Whereas if you deal in facts, you say, based on my research, I have found that I have to do 180 conversations in order to get 6 people to sign up for my coaching program at $500. I'm going to keep it there. Now I'm going to go to work on the 180. You may go to work on the 360, but the likelihood that you're going to make that goal is slimmer than the likelihood you make the goal when you have to talk to 180. Just because we already talked about, do you have the time to do double the work? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But you've gone off course, which is what derail means, with the lowering of the price because of the fear. But now we're over here with the 180 people that you have to talk to in order to get 6 to say yes, in order to sell them your coaching program at $500 in order to make $3,000. You know, okay, these are the facts. I'm now going to make sure that every day I talk to at least 8 people, 9 people. But it's 9 times, we're not going to say you're working every day of the week. So 9 times 25-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Okay. I'm not going to do the exact math. But you have to talk to this many people in order to potentially get to the 180 you have to have a conversation with to get to the 6 to say yes. Those are facts. Now you can plan your time. You can plan your weeks. You can plan where you're going to find those people to talk to, where you're going to find those leads. You may be doing the same activity over here, but now because of fear, you've doubled your workload and the possibility of success is smaller. Then that causes discouragement because let's say on the fact side, you talk to 180 people and in fact, only 4 say yes. So you now made $2,000. Excellent. But on the fear side, when you went with the fear, instead of talking to 180 people, you didn't even get to, you got to 240. Let's say you got to 240. So we'll say you got to 240. You talked to 180 plus another 60. You got to 240. And out of those 240, you only got 6 clients. So you got 6 clients to say yes, yay, but now they only paid $250 each. Yay. But now you're sitting at what, $1,500? So now you're short, you did more work for $500 less than you did over here, where you didn't even close at the rate that you wanted to, and you definitely didn't close at the rate you wanted to over here. So do you see how dealing in fear caused a problem when you could have been dealing in fact, which would have given you more success closer to what you wanted? So we have to decide, are we going to deal in the fear of things or are we going to deal in the fact of things? And we have to look at the situation and say, what's real and what's not? And then we have to make decisions on what's real. And that means we have to call our fear out. You have to call your fear out and you have to say, no, that thought is based on fear. We've talked about it over the last several videos, deciding the fear that you're going to tackle, deciding why you have that fear, deciding one action you're going to take to address that fear. And then the last video, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting, but I want to say it was the habit. What habit do you need to break in order to, it's either break or create to deal with that fear, right? So in this scenario, it is identifying. What I want you to do is I want you to start identifying your thoughts around the habit that you've chosen to tackle, to change from fear to fact, right? I want you to, the habit that you've determined, the why you have it. I want you, that fear that you have committed, yes, I'm going to do something about it. I want you to now, this is your 5th step. I want you to now start identifying the thoughts that come into your head about that fear and labeling them fact or fear, fact or fiction. You can separate, you can put fiction in for fear because possibilities are still fiction. They are not real. They have not happened. We have high expectations and hopes. Those are still fiction. We may know that we know that we know that it's going to happen. That's called faith. Even still, it has not yet happened. It is still fiction that will be coming to reality. But right now, it's fiction. So fear is fiction. It is the anxiety of something that is to come, that has not happened yet. So I want you to identify your thought and say, is this thought fiction or is this thought fact? And the fact is, going back to the example of the 180 people, I have a list of 200 people that I can call. That's a fact. I don't have a list of 360 people that I can call. That's a fact. So now I have a fear that I don't even have enough leads to call because I spiced my prices. And now I don't even know how I'm going to make this work, which was a decision that started out of fear. Whereas the fact is I have 200 leads, which means I have 180 people to call. Now again, you got to talk to 180 people, not just call them. But I have this as a fact. And I know based on numbers and data and my close rate and facts that I can look back and say, over the last 4 months, on average, when I talk to 30 people about my services, one said, yes, that's a fact. That's a statistic. That can be proven. Those are numbers, averages. Thank God, math rules do not change. That can be shown as fact. That's what you're going to deal with. And so I want you to identify in your head, is the thought fear, which is fiction, or is it fact? And the ones that are fact, I want you to go with. The ones that are fiction, I want you to kick out. Find a fact and head in that future. This is how we forge through fear. This is how we move through the fear toward the future that you want to be reality and that you want to design. And that is how we're going to move forward through fear by fact into the future that you want. Until next time, your focus, forge through the fear. Let's go.